So what is a visual art style? Now, visual is the keyword I'd use over here because there are other forms of art style too, which includes music or performance arts like plays and like plays or dance performances. But I would focus on visual art style. And so, what is the basis of an art style? It's essentially your eyes taking an image, and that is being processed by your brain. Your eyes perceive that image is being processed in your brain, and in between your brain and your hands, something happens, and that um, that thing is different in every person. It's the way every person perceives reality, and it's completely subconscious what this happens. So which brings me to my next point, which is it's impossible it's impossible to have no art style, because I've heard many people say this to me, that they don't have an art style, or they don't know how to sketch with their identity. So that's not possible.
Rehan,
Huh?
Switch on your screen, man. We can't see you.
Rehan, yeah, screen share.
It got turned off actually. Can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my point is that if you're human, you have a tendency to show your individuality, your characteristics in every single thing that you do, and sketching is no different, or drawing or making art is no different. And what you probably do have is an unrefined or an underdeveloped art style. And so that's what I'm going to focus on, is how do you refine something that you already have, and how do you hone that on the basis of an early stage of an art style. So if you even notice a freehand drawn line that you make, you'll notice a variation even in this from person to person. So maybe your lines could be extremely squiggly, or they could be like a balance between both of them. Or I have seen people who have dead precision in their lines, so they have extremely straight lines though they're doing it freehand. And even the way you end your lines is different from every person. Some people like to leave their lines open, some like to cross it, some like to connect it exactly. So yeah, this is something that you'll notice in everyone, and that somehow has your character in it, and at the same time it's also your thought process that happens. And so it may sound a little too preachy, but I'll show you a few examples of an exercise I did with my friends. So I asked a bunch of my friends whether they have an art style or no, and these are the ones that said either no or they are unsure if they have an art style. And so I asked them to draw a piece of grass and send it to me. And so this is what has come up with. So this is Piyush's, this is Suhana's, this is Siddesh's, this is Armia's, this is Aditi's, this is mine. And eventually in this workshop only, I will teach you all how to render and shade to add more depth to it. And so like something as basic as grass, when I've asked people to draw who are unsure or who don't know, or who are like straight up denying that they have an art style, even something as basic as grass is drawn in their way, in the way they are perceiving something as basic as grass. And so that is the whole like purpose of this, that you don't be discouraged and try to replicate someone else's art style, but rather understand what you have and hone that and perfect it over time. There are millions of people with millions of ways their brain processes reality. And that's the uniqueness of it. So how do you develop your unrefined art style? You have probably heard this a lot, and it's probably very frustrating at this point, where people just tell you to practice more. And even I have given this, even I've told people this, but you need to know, yes, practice more is very important. You do need to practice more, but you need to know where, in what direction you're supposed to practice. You can end up you can end up sketching and drawing and wasting years on trying to do everything, but then you won't see any significant growth, and that will just dishearten you. So practice more, and I will try to help you in understanding your own flaws and maybe developing it in every sketch. So the other point is inspiration. So what are some works that you find visually stunning? And I would suggest that you don't just get inspired by them and try to maybe copy them, but study and understand them. Study and understand how these works create a sense of mood through their maybe through their composition, or maybe through their use of color scheme, maybe the light and shadow. So if it's a good example of a good work of art, these things are probably done intentionally. And study and understand these, and for real, it's going to help you a lot, and it does improve the way you draw and perceive spaces a lot more, even including architecture. So these are some of the works that have inspired me. So one is a graphic novel by Moebius, a very famous French artist who came after Hergé. And this book has been very influential to me in understanding how fictitious landscapes can be made. And the others are Ghibli movies. You all need to watch Miyazaki's movies. It's a must watch in terms of Japanese films. And the other is in video games, Legend of Zelda series, but especially Wind Waker, which came out in 2003. But especially like it's even to date, it's amazing. And even the other games work in terms of visual styles. They help you a lot. So I'll give you examples of my own personal growth and maybe a trip down memory lane, especially for my batchmates. So semester 1 ARD sketches. So Tanya ma'am was my guide over here. And I used to not draw in ink. I used to draw only in pencil. And I was not confident with pen. And yeah, I have attempted my best to form a perspective, but a lot of it is quite bad in terms of what I can do now. Especially you'll see the remarks given by Tanya ma'am also saying that refer to trees, refer to pen and ink, and because the trees are horrible and the shading is also overdone. And if you notice, she's saying over here, improve and refer to this book. And I did eventually read those books and practice myself. For example, these are all terrible drawings compared to now. This guy is supposed to be their father, but he's at the same height and body proportions of them. So he turns out to be a dwarf. And so yeah, it took me a while, but this was the first step of drawing something apart from, maybe Spider-Man sketches or something like that. And so then we move on to semester 2, where I tried my hand with pigment liners for the first time. And it has I did enjoy the process of using ink, but and the perspective is still there, but it's extremely off because the car is way too small compared to the human, and the lines are also way overdone. For example, the hatches, I didn't know how to hatch, so I just kept on scribbling, and that could also be an art style for a certain person, but I ended up liking something that is more minimal, using fewer lines to express the same thing without doing all these squiggles for trees and all that. And so now comes semester 3. I started using color for the first time. And a lot of my friends helped me, like Ali and Armia, they all helped me in learning how to use watercolors. And this is the first time I used watercolors. And so yeah, it's something, but in terms of growth, you can understand that especially in the trees, you can understand I've reduced the amount of details and just focused on major line works. But still at some areas, the line work is overdone, for example, over here and all. And my basis of color is there here, where, there was a red door on the side, but it was not as red in the side. So I made that more of a highlight. Same with these construction barriers. So those color pops, along with a gray dull background, that is something I still do today. And that understanding came with over time, just realizing and thinking back. Come semester 4 ARD, so this has been a huge major turning point in terms of style, because especially thanks to my the ARD faculty back then, Mukund sir, Fazan sir, even Fatima ma'am. So they were like instrumental in and they made a huge focus of art style and architectural representation. So everything that you do, try to have your own style into it or your own uniqueness into it. And they were very encouraging in it. So now you can notice that I have started simplifying my forms, like the humans, the plants, the trees, all of that is having a certain geometry to them. And that became sort of, my way of drawing, where I wanted less to put less, and understanding line weights, like things that are closer would be darker, but things that are back, like behind, they would be lighter. So all this sense of depth started coming throughout this time. And then the first mood grass sketch, I would say, before mood grass was named that. So now you can see there's a distinct style formed, but my use of color is not throughout the page. I use color only in certain areas to just highlight something, because I'm still not confident with it to spread it throughout the page. And yeah, I mean, I don't explain my drawings. I would prefer people to have their own interpretations. But this is something that even Mukund sir was very encouraging to have, to make my own page and do these. So then comes July 2019, few months later. I made this piece as a study piece where I wanted to learn about anatomy, and I wanted to learn about human posture and maybe color scheme, like red and blue over here. And even the gray that's been used is having a slight shade of red. And at the same time, a mixture of digital rendering and physical, like watercolor rendering. So all of this has been done digitally, but this has been done through watercolor. Even these roofs have been done through watercolor. So this was supposed to be a study piece for me to understand, and it did help me a lot in understanding and building up a confidence to, then to make full-blown landscapes, full-blown colored landscapes. So then I got a digital tablet a few months after that, and I was able to add a lot more details because I could zoom in and sketch. So I could have, I could spend more time and develop, or detail out things. And at the same time, now I started experimenting with brushes and all, which I don't use today. That is the process of growth. You need to try and work. So now I've built up enough confidence to have an entire piece colored. And then comes quarantine, and there's a lot of time now, and I'm confident enough to make probably anything that I can imagine in my head. And I take it up as a challenge also, that, okay, I've seen this image, I'll draw it. And I'll try to make it happen completely. So yeah, once you reach this stage, your subconscious turns into conscious, and you're able to naturally draw in your own art style. Your art style develops, and anything you draw will have those elements. So yes, there will be growth once you reach this point, but the style will still remain distinct. It will be very obvious, and you'll understand that, okay, it's yours. It's your drawing. At this point, yes, you will see probably minimal growth, but more growth in terms of, the scale of drawings. And that is something I'm working on. So that's all for the talk part. You could visit Moodgrass to see the other posts, other drawings in between these. There are many of them that I've missed out. And I'll move on to Photoshop now. So if you all have any questions, you all can ask anyway.
Yeah, should I ask?
Carry on.
What?
Okay, Rekha, Hawam has a question. He's asking, one second. There are so many questions.
Yeah, so I'll answer before.
Do you miss your connection with pencil?
What is the question?
Do you miss your connection with pencil?
Actually, now I am more like, I find it a lot more easier now to just draw with my digital tablet. So I am actually pencil drawing first, but with my tablet. So I don't see much of a huge jump. It's just a jump in terms of how it's presented, and especially with like a Wacom, the feeling of a pencil is almost the same, because even the sound of it, the texture of it, and your pressure sensitivity, all of it emulates in an almost perfect manner. So I don't find that much of a difference. But yes, I do use pencil sketches, and most of my AD work, the progressives are all hand done, and that's what I still would like to use hand done. But in terms of presentation, I prefer using my digital tablet. Any other question?
Then we have another question by Divya. She's asking, do you have your own font style?
Yeah, I do have my own font. So I use the software called Windows Font Maker, and I use the same tablet, and I wrote every single letter and formed my own art, font, and then saved it. So I'm using the font in my other presentations and all that, in my works and all. Any other?
All right. We have another question by Harshad. So I think he didn't leave the meeting because he was interested. So he's asking you, are you planning to do a graphic novel with an imaginary story that you have in mind? You render for the water in the cure. Your render for the water in the cure is super. It's good.
Yeah, actually, sir, I did make a comic, a 10-page web comic. It's there on my profile, and that is more of a like a class thing, where I have cameos from like my few classmates, and I've drawn their a fictitious version of themselves. So yeah, there is a comic, and I am planning on doing more later on. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Isa sir also said a thing that should be noticed. Like we have this page on Instagram. You all can go and check Walking Labs page. Like I think most of the people know. But like, if you see all the posters on Walking Lab, mostly all of them are made by Rehan. So yeah.
Most of them. But okay.
They are all piece of art in themselves. That's epic. They don't have a requirement of a separate post altogether.
Okay, we have one more question by Rekha. Really good to look back on your work and see how when you graduated to a well-defined, more confident style, and I believe adds a lot to your confidence.
Yeah, absolutely it does, because like all the batchmates, most of my friends now today, they know me completely different from first year. I was someone who barely spoke to people. I had like 2 friends in first year, and throughout the years, yeah, my confidence built, especially due in part with this whole page, and having my own activity happening simultaneously, and so many people supporting with it. So yeah, it built up my confidence in both my work and in terms of my demeanor.
Okay, so I think you are going to be flooded with questions. There's one more question by Trinisha.
Have you ever tried the Photoshop session also?
Yeah. I think we'll take this as the last question, and I think no more questions after this. Or like you can do your question thing after like end of the photo. So the question is, have you ever tried experimenting with mediums for render apart from watercolors and digital render, like soft pastel or acrylic? If yes, then what was your experience?
Yeah, so I my first, like at least throughout second year, I was using watercolors only, and I haven't tried soft pastels, and acrylic I have not tried on paper, but I've tried like painting it on other things. I do love watercolor a lot, but the only thing is I miss Control Z. And if I mess up something in watercolors, I can't undo it, and that ends up making like a messy art piece. And the amount of effort I put into reaching the process, inking it, sketching it, inking it, and then getting messed up by watercolor, I prefer not taking that step and just digitally rendering it. But I do my final sheets and all in watercolors, especially landscape and Sem 4 of AD and all. Okay. I'll read all the comments later on. So is my screen still present? No.
No.
So I would suggest that you all take notes down for these, and Joanna send the shortcut keys in the chat. There are a few shortcuts that I use. She'll send it on the chat, like either note it down or maybe save it or something.
Okay.
Help you in this. So this is something I've done by hand only, because a lot of y'all don't have graphic tablets. I understand that, but it's not necessary. You can draw and then clean it on Photoshop and render it on Photoshop. That's also okay. So I've done that only for making it easy for you guys. So this is I took a normal picture. I didn't do CamScan, but you should probably use CamScan. Because once you CamScan, it's probably already cleaned. You just have to do minor cleaning. But for drawings like these, I will teach you how to properly clean your artwork. So your first step would be layers. So you can either press Ctrl+L, or you can use an in this adjustment tab. You can use levels over here. Many of you all probably don't have this adjustments tab, so I'll show you how to activate it. So you go to window and you click on adjustments. You just check mark this and you get your adjustments over here. Why I would suggest not pressing Ctrl+L, because it doesn't create a new layer. But when you click on adjustments levels, it creates a new layer, as you can see over here. So now few things to understand in levels. This is your white, this is the grays, and this is the blacks. You would want to pull the white slider. As you can see, you can notice the change happening. You want to pull the white slider closer, and this is also trial and error. So you need to just understand that. And pull as you can see here, it's a little tone, and over here. So you pull the black slider now, and those inks start popping a little more. And gray is usually used for pencil lines. So you should properly erase all your pencil lines before taking a picture. And then this is just to balance probably. And once you have that, you have not completely cleaned it, but you're 80% done. Now there are some things that need more cleaning. As you can see over here, this whole area is still a little light and tone. So you can manually do that by using burn or dodge tools. Burn tool would increase the black, and dodge tool will increase your whites. So I will use burn tool on my inks layer, my levels layer, and it will darken. And also now another thing I would suggest is, you will notice a yellowish tint whenever you scan, or a purplish tint. So you need to erase that completely. You need to get that out completely. So in your same adjustments tab, there's a way to reduce color completely. And this is a second step into cleaning your drawing. So you go into your hue saturation and you turn down saturation completely. And then probably merge these layers. So you right click, merge down. And you could go back to your burn tool and do those corrections. I'll turn off my video because the presentation is a lot more slower when my video is on. We tried it yesterday actually. Okay, so now you'll name this layer as inks probably, and you'll have another layer which would be color. Okay, and this will be color 1 because you can have multiple layers of colors. Now, since there is still a white background over here, how do you color under it? You either delete the white, or you can do something a lot more easier, which is just go to multiply over here. So instead of normal, you go to multiply, and when you do that, you take any color and you so it will always be behind the lines. When you click on multiply, it ignores the whites in the blending mode of multiply. So now that we have that, we can start rendering. So go to your magic wand, which is W. I think Suana has sent those shortcut keys. And now, so we are essentially going to render in the same way you were taught in probably elementary, where you have a cube with 3 shades. One would be like if the light source is from here, the top part will be highlight, one will be the shadow, and one will be the natural tone of it. So we're doing that only, but a little more like taken forward, where there are like faces to it, so you can understand shadow a little better. So I'll use magic wand and select everything that has the same color, all the faces that has the same colors. You can absolutely do this with a mouse too, but it's way more easier if you have a graphic tablet. And a lot of people have been buying Wacom or the other brands. Like especially in our class, there are like 10 people probably by now. Once I have all the lines selected, I can color in my color layer. So Alt plus backspace is color fill. But if you notice, Photoshop has this tendency of having a halo around, a very ugly halo around your lines. You'll notice this in your other drawings also, maybe your section renders or something like that. So what workaround like I found for this is, when you have selected your drawing, you go to select, you go to modify, and you expand it by say 2 pixels. So expanding a selection by 2 pixels and then color dropping. So you can see it's a lot more cleaner now. And what you have missed out, you can just manually color them by hand with your mouse also. That's one color. The second color would be the internal faces now. So I go to inks, I select the internal faces, my second color, carefully, and choose some other color. Say turquoise, and do the same process again. Modify, expand, 2 pixels. And a few areas that you have missed, maybe color them. And then there's also the grass. So I would be expecting at least some of you all to maybe make an object of your own like this, or any other ink drawing that you have, and probably follow these steps and make a piece. We'll put it on our stories, on Rizvi's stories, and I'll post it on my account too. At least you all will come out of this with some knowledge and at least something to show. So yeah, so same process, modify, expand, you select a green, and I'll be putting grass on another layer. I'll name it grass. Alt plus backspace. Whatever I've missed out, I'll color them quickly. So this type of rendering works for my style. With trial and error, this is something that I've liked. This sort of cartoonish style, comic bookish style, which I have liked. So this is the way I have worked around Photoshop and come up with this style. But you can try different brushes and keep the same principles and make up your own style of rendering too. Now for shadow, you will, I'll show you how to make shadows. You make a new layer above your colors and you name it shadows. You select black and now you'll be painting the shadows on it. So for that, you'll have to reduce the layers opacity by say 35. I select 35. Different styles would require different opacity layers for this. Some styles like anime styles would have more darker shadows, so you can probably go with 50%. And now I will just select the same faces. So for that, I'll explain one thing to you. So imagine the sunlight is coming from this way. So this shadow, this face will be lightest. This will be the actual tone of this, and this will be the darkest. So my whole shadow will be on this face. So we go back to shadows. Select these faces with magic wand. Since this whole face will be in shadow, I will select this whole thing. And drop black, but since it's at opacity 35%, it will be a very light tone. And since its shadow is falling on this face, there will also be a cast shadow that would say fall so much. Now you shade this whole area. So yeah, it's a very satisfying process to just listen to music and maybe do this. I will ignore this grass. So this is one face being in shade. But if you notice, these faces are also facing the opposite side of the sunlight. So I'll shade all of these also. And this I'll be doing it manually. It's a very basic thing for you all to just understand how lighting works. Now, where does shadow fall? So a shadow over here and its height shadow forming over here. The same way over here. And falling probably over here. And under it also. Same here. Under it. And then now your next thing would be highlight. So you have the similar layer to how your shadows are, but name it as highlight. And instead of having 35%, I have figured out 25% works best for this. And instead of black, we'll be using white. I'm repeating the same process. So magic wand on the topmost face, leaving these sides because they are facing over here, and the bottom portion, and then go to highlight and drop white. And at the same time, these top portions will also be receiving sunlight because they are on the top face. So those you manually So your basic shadow and highlight, once you understand, you can take this further to more bigger pieces. And all of your other your grasses will also have a shadow. I can skip past this because I have a layer ready. I'll just show you a few of the grass. How would you color a few of the grasses? So since they are of varying lengths, their shadows will also be of the same varying lengths. So this would be shorter, this would go much longer, and this would be much more longer than that. and few other things. You can have a sky layer. Select blue. Just drop it over here. I also do something known as gradients. This is optional, but you can try it out. So you go to paint bucket and you select gradient tool. And now say for this sky, I would want a darker blue from the top, just falling from the top here. So maybe I select this darker blue. I select this over here and I reduce the opacity so that I have more control. And then you press shift and pull down your desired opacity. At the same time, you can have white maybe falling from down. And for the grass, you could have a yellowish tint from the bottom, like so. And yeah, eventually you will have something that would end up looking sort of like this. And they're like so this is something that I have figured out on my own. I've done trial and error and I've come up with this. But there are other ways you could render this. I'll give you a few examples, like the grass that I showed you of Siddesh's. Maybe you could have, his style would work with a more watercolorish style where you can use different brushes but still keeping the same principle, like shadow and your inks and the color, the same thing, but just different brushes, and I'm playing with my opacities. Or say Suhana's, the grass that she drew, maybe that could have a more pseudo-realistic style that could work for her. Same things, but highlights are more evident, shadows are more toned down, sort of like that. So that's all I have to show. I'm hoping and expecting y'all maybe work on something, a small simplistic piece, and send it to me. I'll give you my email address.
I have linked all these shortcuts and some notes along with it in the comment section. You all can cut and paste, like copy paste it. I'll also be sending that on class groups to your respective CRs. Thank you so much, Rehan, for giving this talk. It was an absolute delight having you here.